What is going on, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation starts right now. 8-game slates in the association. 8 games, 16 teams. Among those 16 teams, 13 are either playing on the front end of a back-to-back or the back end of a back-to-back. So that's why you're getting a lot of injury stuff, a lot of questionable stuff out there, a lot of 3 games in 4 nights. Front end, Brooklyn, Denver, Detroit, Phoenix, Sacramento, Washington. Back end, we talked about these teams last night. Atlanta, Charlotte, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Miami, Minnesota. Milwaukee's on an island game. Philadelphia's on an island game. And I can't think of the other team that's on an island game off the top of my head, but one that I did not mention. I think it's the Thunder. OKC. Chop, happy Thursday. How are things?
Yeah, all right, Dean. You know, we're hanging in there. It's Thursday. One day closer to the weekend, but it's going to be the first weekend in a long time without any footsies and no footballs to be thrown around. So we'll see how it plays out. But
there is football, but are you not into the pitch stuff? You're not into the across the pond?
What?
Football?
No.
That's not football?
No, not worried about that. Come on, we in America, Dean. We want the pigskin.
America likes soccer too, just to be clear.
We want the pigskin. America likes soccer once every 4 years, and that's it.
Well, in a couple months, right?
But, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a tough weekend, man. It's going to be a tough weekend to cope. I'm not going to lie to you, Dean.
It isn't the Pro Bowl this weekend? That's got to be exciting.
Who cares? What's exciting is Jalen Johnson is listed as out now, and I've got to do a quick, editing on the survey because I had Jalen Johnson as my sleeper under the radar. What is it called? GPP guy?
Yeah. For tournaments. That's a survey rookie mistake, picking players that have a legit chance to get rolled out. And when you're on the show too, it's like
no.
Yeah.
No, Dean. I knew this was a possibility. So the rookie mistake would be not planning for it. Luckily, I've got a Jamal Murray write-up already done. So I knew I could throw it in there if I needed to. That's veteran stuff right there, Dean.
So Mohamed Gay, we're going to be talking about Mohamed. He was already projecting pretty good because we saw a Kungwu. I don't know if you saw it. I was going to use it. I was telling producer Steve before you hopped on. I was going to use it as the backdrop. I've been doing this different little sports pictures or images of some sort. But I figured I'd spare the people. A certain percentage of the audience probably would not want to see a Kungwu and his teeth or his lack thereof. I don't know if you saw that last night, but that's the reason why he's out. So yeah, no Okongwu, no Jalen Johnson. We also have Şengün in that game, who's questionable. Are they just clearing the way for a Clint Capella, like a full-on revenge game? Is that what's happening here? Maybe, possibly. He left kind of ugly situation there. Then they just wouldn't let him play at the end. There was some kind of dispute. If I recall correctly, there's legit bad blood. I think we're down to 9 in Atlanta, by the way, if my math is correct. Yeah, it looks like we're down. Unless somebody gets called up from the G League that I'm not aware of, we're gonna be down to 9 for bad matchup against Houston. Obviously, a 109 total is not particularly appealing, but Jalen Johnson getting ruled out just a minute ago as we basically went live. That is a big deal. We're watching out for Alex Sarr. Sarr absolutely went nuts last time out. Good matchup here against Milwaukee. Milwaukee is looking incredibly appealing too, without Giannis, without Porter. The matchup against Washington. Rudy Gobert, he's questionable in the best basketball matchup of the night. Minnesota and the Thunder, back half of a back-to-back. They told us last night that Giddey was going to play or everybody was going to play, but then midday downgrade. I shouldn't call it a midday downgrade because that was them just putting out their injury report. When you play the night before, you can put it out later. But he is questionable. Lots of stuff to monitor. Kason Wallace is questionable, not that important. Jalen Johnson getting ruled out, that is a big deal. We're talking about the Hawks soon enough, but yeah, that's going to be the slate, though. A lot of moving pieces. I'm really curious to see. You got a read on that? Şengün's your guy. You think there's a chance he sits? Maybe they're looking at it and saying, this is 3rd and 4 nights. The other thing is, are they going to play Durant again 40 minutes in the 3rd game in 4 nights in Atlanta? Is that something that's going to happen possibly? It's just he's playing so much. Yeah. Well, is Şengün sitting tonight, Chop? What does your crystal ball tell you?
Tells me he's probably going to play because they lost last night. If they had the cushion and they had won last night, I think they're probably more likely to sit him, considering they've already ruled out a couple of those guys for rest, So, if he can play, I think he'll play. If he sits, he's legit like something going on there. So we'll see how that plays out. It was, yeah, they're missing some bodies already. So I just don't know that I don't know that they just do that. But I do want to point out, Dean, Tuesday's show, Alexander Sarr was the Fill It in the Plums player of the day. He popped a good one. I don't know how I didn't min cash.
I think Sarr was really popular, and I think that was the game where we talked about the centers, and you had to play both centers in that game. You were asking me like which one was my favorite amongst Sarr and Klingon, and I was like, I think I'm just going to play them both, and they both went absolutely. There was a scenario, I don't know if you watched this, but Klingon, in the span of like 7 seconds, scored like 9 fantasy points because I want to say he missed 4 or 5 tip-ins at the bucket, and he just racked up 5 offensive rebounds or 4 offensive rebounds in like 2 seconds, and then he eventually made it. Incredible. Like I think that's how he closed the half, if I'm not mistaken, because he was like a little behind. It's like, he's not doing great. He's doing, he's okay. And then he just put up a 9 spot in like 2 seconds because he just missed like 7 shots in a row, little tip-ins. But I think that was back in the day they used to call that a Moses Malone. People allege that Moses Malone would miss shots intentionally just to rack up rebounds. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. The allegations on Moses.
Big Moses. R.I.P. Big Moses.
Is he no longer with us?
I don't know. Give it a Google. Somebody give that a Google.
You're just R.I.P. him.
I would imagine he's an older guy. I would imagine.
He might be like 60. I don't know.
No, he's older than. He's probably got to be in his 70s by now.
Hold on a second. Wait, you can't. Here's the thing: when I RIP somebody, I want to be sure. That's something I want to make sure of. Yeah, you just assume that they're no longer with us. Now I'm giving it a Google. I'm halting the show. Oh, you know what? Yeah, RIP is legit. 2015, he died at 60. So,
goodness, so young, man.
Yeah,
so young. Yeah, too many burritos, I guess. I mean, Moses wasn't in the best shape towards the latter end of that. What, Dean? Like
why burritos? Like
you can see a guy. If a guy's carrying too much weight, it's bad for your heart, and you're just not gonna make it that long, Dean. So.
But you assume, why burritos? Is he known for liking burritos? His go-to? I never heard that.
That was his thing. After every game, after his post-game meal, was always a big burrito spread in the locker room.
I don't think that's true.
You'll never know. You can't disprove it.
You can't prove a negative. You can't prove a negative, right? Is that what they say? Hit that like button. You guys are hanging out in the chat. Do it, subscribe, turn on those notifications, join the conversation as well. You got us for the next hour and change until we yield to crunch time. Crunch time coming in at about 6:15 or so. You got Taylor, Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, and TJ. TJ Zwarych. I assume TJ's holding down the hosting duties. I'm seeing TJ, Taylor, and Kirkwood in about an hour and change. You want to say anything as far as big picture? I know you don't like doing that, but I don't want to be rude and not ask. As far as the slates, what are you waiting for? 2 games early, 7:00. Then we have a break. So, I mean, will we get the news on Şengün? Is it worth waiting? Well, I think there's some really appealing. We'll talk about Milwaukee and Washington. It's really, really hard not to play anybody in that game, at least for me. Multiple players I'm going to get to. We'll get clarity on Sarr at some point, but he's currently questionable. Monk is questionable too, if I'm not mistaken. Russ is already ruled out for Sacramento. We'll talk about the Kings. It could be Dennis Schroeder is an interesting piece today, kind of a last man standing situation. But yeah, Chop, anything you want to say before we fully dive in? Anything on your mind, or shall we just go do a little game by game?
Yeah, Dean, I would say all things being neutral. Okay, Dean, listen to this scenario. All things being neutral. Level playing ground for everything. Who would you rather have? You sign a free agent this offseason for your team. Would you rather have Rico Dowdle or Javonte Williams? All things being neutral, who would you want to sign as a free agent running back? Those were your 2 options.
I think it's Javonte Williams, but
okay.
I mean, is this a Is this something people are discussing? I'm not aware of this conversation. Is this amongst your friends?
There's plenty of discussions on free agent running backs. Yeah, everybody needs, a lot of teams need a running back. Everything being equal, Dean, would you rather have Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall? Because these are all free agents. I'm listening. Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall?
Am I supposed to be sharp and just say it doesn't matter because running backs don't matter? I think they're very similar, Hall and Walker. I'd probably give a slight edge to Hall.
Okay.
Do you agree or disagree with these? Am I helping your argument, or are you hurting your argument, or you have an opinion on these? So these are not things I've thought about.
I just everything's so close right there. I'm just wondering, who's going to get the big money and how that's going to trickle down in the running back market for free agents in the NFL. I feel like Breece Hall is the more well-rounded running back, but I think we're going to see Kenneth Walker can catch the ball. Maybe it's Breece Hall, but then the Rico Javante thing really is intriguing to me because I think one of them ends up being a Dallas Cowboy. Don't know which one. We'll have to see what kind of dollars and cents are out there, but yeah, it's going to be fun, Dean. Fun offseason. Get ready.
Yeah, or you can just always draft one, right? Most replaceable position in football. I don't know who's out there or whatever, but I'm sure there's some running backs that are going to be joining the league. They're going to be useful to some extent, but yeah, as always, it's the hot stove. What do they call it for football? No, hot stove for baseball. Is there a term for football? I think there is there? Maybe I just don't know what it is. It's not hot stove.
I think it's the kettle pot.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
The Kings are playing the Sixers. 230.5 is the total. Sacramento stinks. They're 12-point dogs here in Philadelphia. I mentioned Philadelphia, one of the few teams on the slate, 3 of 16, that's actually playing an island game. Island game reminder, meaning they did not play yesterday. They're not playing tomorrow. As far as the injury report, Joel Embiid is probable. He's probable on there with his knee. Paul George, probable on there with his knee. Kelly Oubre is listed as available with his knee. They're about as healthy as they're going to be. Quentin Grimes is questionable with his ankle, but doesn't really matter a heck of a lot. I mentioned earlier that Russ Westbrook is out. He's got a foot, so he cannot play basketball tonight. Keegan Murray's still out there for Sacramento with his ankle. And then Malik Monk, he's got an ankle too, so he's questionable. How are we feeling about the Kings and the Sixers?
Is this an Athlete Thursday, Dean?
Oh, yeah. I forgot to it's my bad. Yeah, you know what? I gave it to producer Steve, and shout out to you for reminding me. Yes, it is. First clue for Fleet Thursday is bird. Bird is the clue. Bird is the word. In the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. Tell me what athlete I am talking about in the Discord channel. And if you're the first person to do so, get yourself a week free of RG Premium. All the bells, all the whistles, not just basketball, but all the sports. What's so funny?
Yeah, Ruthless is saying Larry Bird. It won't be Larry. It won't be Larry Bird. It won't be that. It won't be Chris Anderson.
Birdman?
Be anything obvious. Come on, he knows better than that. So, yeah, I guess be better. That's a good guess.
Mike Tyson's a good guess, actually.
That is a good guess.
He loved his pigeons. He was a big fan of pigeons.
Yep. Big pigeon guy. But
Randy Johnson's also a good guess, by the way.
That'd be a good one too. But I think that it'd be too early to drop that clue if it was Randy. But I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. We'll see how it plays out. All right, what do we got? Philly, Sacramento. So,
yes, sir.
I want to do something with Sacramento here. When we get word that Russell was out, I was like, what can we do here? That's got to open up something. But man, nothing really, nothing stands out to me. Nothing looks particularly appealing. Just a bunch of bad mid-range guys who don't really have footing in the league anymore. I don't know. Maybe DeRozan steps up into. Maybe Sabonis. I just don't love any of the Sacramento side. So I don't know. I'll see how that plays out closer to lineup log, but not in love with the Sacramento side, Dean. Philly, relatively healthy here. I think Quentin Grimes is the only one that's major, that's a big rotation piece that won't be playing. So all the other guys are there. And we've seen that kind of take away from Maxey quite a bit. And he's priced as if Joel Embiid is sitting, and so it's tough to play him at that price tag with Embiid playing. And Embiid's the one guy on the team in the game in general. Embiid's the one guy I look at and go, "Ooh, buddy, man, I like that one right there. That's the play right there." If you had to pick one guy from this game, it'd be Embiid. He's on fire lately. Looks good. Looks healthy. Great matchup. Let me check my proprietary DVP. Oh yeah, fantastic matchup against Sabonis here. And he's got it number 5. He's getting the number 5 next to his name on defense versus archetype also. So that reinforces my position on the matchup. So yeah, Embiid's the guy here, man. In this game, he's the guy I would want, and he's the guy I'm trying to shove on some rosters.
He's been awesome. Like, credit to him. He's been really, really good. Coming into the season, and like last year, it seemed like he was very much on the downswing, and it's like this guy's legs are shot, and he's kind of worked himself into shape, I suppose. I still say this is bad long term, how much they're playing him. He played 46 minutes against your Rockets a couple games ago, which seems just bonkers to me. He only played 29 last time out, but that was a blowout against Milwaukee. But he's playing a lot of minutes in close games. Now, this game also could be a blowout. It's a little bit tougher these days facing Sacramento because, it's not Maxime Renaud. Sabonis, Boner is back. The defense a little bit more competent. But I agree, Embiid's interesting. It's just that there are also some values at center that we'll be talking about as far as lineup construction. What do you think of Schroeder? You mentioned, you kind of defined, what did you say? Kind of a ragtag group of the Kings, like subpar, like, they're it's the most poorly constructed team in basketball. I don't remember how you define them. I forgive me, I forgot, but he fits the Kings perfectly. Like he's the perfect king. But what if we lose Monk? Like, I think he projects pretty well right now. I was trying to find an if-then. We don't have an if-then set up for that. We have a lot of if-thens in that one for whatever reason, not set up, but we'll also have that information. If not our show, Crunch Time will know. How do you feel about the good old demolition man, Dennis Schroeder?
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to lose Monk, and I think he'd be in play because he'd be the main ball handler there. I don't think you're going to play DeRozan or Levine as the primary point guard. So I think there would be a good place for Schroeder if Monk is out. So yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But as it stands right now, 22% or so, 20 somewhere between 25 and 30% for Schroeder with Monk in there I'm going to pass on that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Also, with it being a first play on the slate, but I'd be much more interested, like you said, if Monk is out, they'd be forced to play him probably even a couple more minutes. We're currently giving him 29. I can see him hitting over 30, 31, 32, something like that. Okay, we should scoot along. This game is pretty awesome. Milwaukee and Washington, 222.5. That's the total. Milwaukee is a 2-point favorite here at Washington. All the Antetokounmpos, Alex Antetokounmpo, Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're unavailable. Cole Anthony, their only other ball handler because Kevin Porter is out. Kevin Porter is out with an oblique. Cole Anthony's ill. He had the fish, so he's questionable. I see only other. The other one is Ryan Rollins, who played – God, did he play 39 minutes last game, something like that? He played 39 minutes last game, Chop, and he didn't play the last 2 minutes and change because it was a blowout. He was on pace to play 41. And that's also Portis going to play a ton. We saw Miles Turner playing a ton. I think we're still just projecting. Let me just confirm. And, you can't go too high on the median projections. Yeah, 36 for Rollins. Also, revenge game, sneaky revenge game. He used to play for Washington for a year. I think just a year, maybe a year and a half. This, Washington plays the second worst defense in basketball, like the 6th fastest pace. I think Rollins is like the best play on the slate. It's also reflected in ownership. He's going to be popular. We're giving 33 minutes to Portis, 32 for Turner, 33 for Kuz. All 4 of those guys project really, really well. I imagine I'm going to have multiple Bucks on every lineup I make. Are you as excited about the Bucks as I am? And then you have Washington. Trey Johnson still projects pretty well. George projects really well. Revenge game for Chris Middleton?
I don't know about that one.
I don't know.
His knees want some revenge on Doc Rivers.
He was actually really, really good last game, but I think it was a stock sting, right? He had 3 steals, a block. Yeah, I mean, he was good. He was good last time out, but I would not expect that to. He had a big time outlier game last time, but wouldn't count on that repeating. And I like Sarr if he plays. They upped the price, but I still think he's interesting at 7.9. He's in the 8s on FanDuel. But are you as excited about Bucks Wizards as I am?
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, for sure. Where do we start? It's Washington. They're all like Sarr's good. Keyshawn George, I like a little more than Sarr. Trey Johnson, price bump, but he's probably worth it in this matchup. I think he's good. You mentioned Middleton, not really going to Middleton, I don't believe. But the other guy I was looking at, Bub Carrington. It's just a good matchup all around for both these teams. We could dive into the matchup, but Carrington's been pretty decent lately. If he's gonna get he got 28 minutes last game, this was prior to that he was getting even a lot. If he's gonna bump up over 25 minutes in this matchup, I think Carrington's okay too. Milwaukee's definitely the side we want to be on here, though. We'll see what Cole Anthony does. It's a good matchup for him, but Kyle Kuzma, this seems like the type of matchup Kyle Kuzma goes off on. Just a baby soft matchup. Well, what you got?
Revenge.
Yeah, he used to play for Washington. Yeah, but it's a baby soft matchup for him. Bobby Portis is in a good spot here. Good matchup. Is going to get a lot of extra usage here with these guys out. Bobby Portis has always been a good per minute guy. And last game got 36 minutes. If you're telling me Bobby Portis is going to get 35 minutes tonight on the dot, he's 100% of my lineups. 100%. There's just that outlier rug pull that could happen with him that makes me think a little bit. But Bobby Portis is great. Ryan Rollins is great. You mentioned that one. Good matchup. But the guy I'm going to highlight has the best matchup on the whole night out of any NBA player, and that's Miles Turner.
Ooh.
That's the best matchup on. I just go by the numbers, Dean. I'm just looking at the numbers, and all the factors are telling me this is the best matchup on the board. And now Miles Turner's not a prolific rebounder. He's just not. I don't know. It's just not his thing. But man, if you're going to ever grab 8+ rebounds, this is the matchup to do it. So he's got that going for him. We know he can, he's a semi-hot from the 3-point range. He'll rack up a bunch of points. Washington gives up all that stuff. They'll give you anything. Points in the paint, 3-point, wide open, rebounding, everything. So Miles Turner, I think, is in a great spot for 5,800 and probably a guy I'm going to have in well over the field.
Yeah, Turner's stung for the first 30 games or so of the season, but he's turned it on of late. The minutes have ramped up of late. He played 35 last time out, again, because they kind of have to. They just have so few players at this point. It was already kind of a thin roster, not a deep roster, and they lost Porter. They lost Giannis. You mentioned Bobby Portis. He's got a life philosophy. You missed 100% of the shots you don't take. Now, Wayne Gretzky said that. Michael Scott famously said that. And I feel very confident that Bobby Portis has got that somewhere, hanging in his house somewhere, that quote on the wall. He's definitely somebody that's not going to be shy. By the way, we got to make a revenge lineup. I feel like we got Rollins, we got Kuzma, Michael Porter Jr. we'll talk about. I think that's first blood, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's first blood, right? First time back in Denver. Is it not?
I thought, hold on a minute.
In Denver.
Oh, in Denver.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Does that matter where it's at?
They'll show a video hey, here's Michael Porter making some shots. Joker got him wide open.
He did put up 50 on him the first time.
Oh, okay. I don't recall them playing earlier in the year, but
they played earlier. But
Capella possibly could be a revenge.
It was at home, I believe. So, yeah, Capella. I don't know, man. Was Capella feel vengeful like that?
They kind of screwed him over at the end of the year. They refused to play him at the end of the season. Remember last year?
Does he blame him? Because he kind of knows he stinks, right? He's got to know. You got to know that, right?
I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know. Do you know you're no longer as good as you were? Possibly. Do you want to admit it? A lot of these guys, they still probably think they're as good as they once were. I don't know.
I think I think some guys are probably got their head in the sand and want to believe that they're as good as they ever were. But a lot of people are very self-aware too. Like Dean, I'm very self-aware. I'm not winning no millionaire makers anytime soon. All right, the game may have passed me by, and I'm not scared to admit that. But
you won 2. That's pretty good.
It was a good ride while it lasted. But you got to be self-aware, man.
Do you even play them? Like I don't. I mean, especially the ones that have like 30-40% up top. Look, have a good time, enjoy yourself. You know, it's like buying a lottery ticket. But I don't advocate playing them. But like, it's like, what do you want out of this? You just want to have like a dream? Okay, whatever. $10 for a dream, $20 for a dream. I assume there's one for the Super Bowl. I imagine so for Showdown. I think it's 4.5 mil if I'm not mistaken. So it's not incredibly egregious as far as what's up top. But do you even play those like millionaire contests? I basically don't.
Oh no, I typically stay away from them.
Yeah,
there's been that cycle throughout DFS. It used to be the live finales, and that was great for a while, and then they just kind of ruined that experience. So I moved on from that to the millionaire makers, and then I moved on from that. So
what's the best live finale you went to? You're probably doing those Playboys, I would imagine.
Those were good, but those were really good. But hands down, the Bahamas was the best. All inclusive. You're in the hotel where you walk out the back. Yeah, you walk out the back door of the hotel, and it's a water park, and you go like. Connected to the water park through another gate is the Bahamas Crystal Nassau, the private beach for the. I mean, it was just sure. They really did it good. That was fun.
If Sar doesn't play, could Sky Labissiere be interesting at 3K? Because they're going to be. I didn't do the rundown, right? Bagley's out. Sar is questionable. Vukcevic is out. Of course, Trae Young, they're not letting him play. Cam Whitmore is out, but they're going to be down 3 bigs in Bagley, Sar, Vukcevic. And that's another argument for, Turner can up his rebounds, although he's inept when it comes to that. Who gets the rebound if Triple J and Miles Turner go up for it? Who grabs it?
Oh, man, yeah. Jamal Shedd. No, I don't. I mean... Pass to Labissiere, can't play that one, I don't think, Dean. It would take a little bit.
He might play like 25 minutes. Do we have an if-then set up for that? It's dicey.
Somebody's probably ahead of him, man, in that rotation.
Bill Riley, Anthony Gill. It's probably going to be. It's going to be a
Bilal Calabal, small lineup.
So they'll play Bilal at the 5.
Bilal Calabal, small lineup.
Yeah. He's 3K, and which makes him interesting to me. So, he's not been relevant in the league in 10 years. It's been a while.
Labissiere,
7 years.
I mean, even when he was relevant, it was like for 1 month.
He was a rotation player for the Kings, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
for like 1 month, he was like, "Oh man, this guy, yeah, he's got some skills," and that didn't last long. It's good for him.
Has he been playing like overseas or something?
Good for him. He's still at it. He's still grinding away.
Isn't he like 30? Where did they find him? Like, where did he? I just don't know what he was doing the last 5 years. He's 29. Yeah. Okay. And last time in the NBA, 2019, he played for the Blazers a little bit. 2016, yeah, he played for the Kings for several years, about 3-4 years or so. Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's like interesting. I have no idea where the minutes are going to go, like you said, but there's a chance he runs in the 20 minutes. Is that useful? I don't know. Rockets, Hawks, 220.5 is the total. The Hawks are 6-point dogs here at home. Before we do that, though, Chop, you want to get the second clue for Fleet Thursday. It is Canada. Bird, Canada. Bird and Canada. Tell me the Discord channel. What athlete am I talking about? Get yourself week free of RG Premium. The Rockets are in Atlanta. The Rockets are playing the back half of a back-to-back. They're traveling, and they're playing the third game in 4 nights. That is the triple threat. That is the whammy. Third and 4 nights, back-to-back, and on the road. They are 6-point favorites because, Okongwu is out for Atlanta. Jalen Johnson is out for Atlanta. But it looks like we have 10. I thought it was going to be 9, but we'll be counting for Newell before. I'm not sure. Yeah, McCollum, Kennard, Krejci, Wallace, and Newell. Newell, I think, has been bouncing back and forth with the G League some games. As far as Houston and their injury report, Steven Adams done over the year. Tari Eason cannot play the back half of a back-to-back, so he's out. So they're thin as far as their bigs. This, again, kind of opens the door for the old Clint Capella revenge game if we lose Şengün. Şengün is currently questionable with an ankle. Rockets, Hawks, what do you got?
Yeah, lots of interesting pieces in this game with all these moving parts here. So, yeah, Dyson Daniels. I mean, they're losing a lot of minutes there for Atlanta, and some pretty good shot attempts. Jalen Johnson's a really, really nice player, so they're losing a lot there. Dyson Daniels is okay. I think when I look at Atlanta, I think it's a much better matchup tonight with Tari Eason out. You don't have to deal with Steven Adams anymore. And DFS is doubtful, isn't he? Or is he out? I think he's doubtful / out.
He is out. Yeah, I did not acknowledge DFS.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're just losing a lot of defense. So it's got to be a weekend defensive team plus travel back-to-back. Yeah. Atlanta's going to score some points. So who's your guys that are going to score it? CJ McCollum, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, maybe. You know, Mohamed Gay is okay. That should be his thing. Mohamed Gay is okay. Like, he's all right. I'm gonna bump up Luke Kennard a little bit because they need some scoring in this game for Atlanta. And another guy I'm gonna bump up from the trash heap here, Dean, is Christian Coloco.
We got him starting.
There's a little bit. There's a there's a touch of DFS upside there if he gets it rolling. You know, he had to have a lot of things work his way, but he's pretty good. He's only 3,300 though, so yeah, those I'm intrigued by all those parts. Nobody overwhelms me except for maybe Muhammad, but they're all good. For the Houston side, man, you know, Şengün is a big piece. If Şengün played and we think he's healthy, I think he's fantastic. But man, if he's out, you can really start to load up on the Houston stacks because Durant will, you know, score 40, maybe 40 real life points. It's Ime Udoka. He's kind of a hardo and all that, so he's going to play the guy. He wants to win. Like I said, if they won last night, this would be a different story, but they lost last night, so he's going to try to chase that win here tonight. Kevin Durant's going to shoot a lot. Amin Thompson would shoot a lot more, and that's kind of all you need out of him is to just keep chucking shots. I think Reed Shepherd's in a great spot here. They're going to need his offense tonight. They're losing their best, statistically, their best three-point shooter, Tari Eason. Reed Shepherd's going to have to fill that role and maybe shoot some extra three-point shots here. And I think these guys are all in play. Jabari, man, people are going to want to go to that. He's got to hit some three-point shots, Dina. His three-point shot has just been so horrendous this year, and I really can't put my finger on why it is, but he needs to start hitting some shots from outside before I can start playing him better. But Reed Shepherd, I think, Amin Thompson, KD, those guys are already all right. They'd be phenomenal without Şengün.
So you talk about Jabari as far as threes. He's not been that terrible. I was surprised. Okay. 34% in the season.
You got to split that though. Like, what is the last month? The last month he's ice. Yeah, the last month he's ice cold.
So it's funny you say that because I was thinking about, you mentioned Dyson Daniels and threes. You talk about threes. Have you seen his 3-point percentage this season, Dyson Daniels?
I don't know. It has not caught my eye. What's up?
So like in 2022, 31%, then 31%, then 34%. This year from three, he's shooting 13%.
Whoa. So he's due, man.
13%. What is that? He's taking less. He's taking 1.4 per game, I guess in part because he's not making them. But what if he does? Like, I think he's better than a 30% three-point shooter. And maybe that's a hot take. He's got to be better. He just has to be better than that. I don't know. He's certainly been struggling, and he's a guy that certainly can pick it up in the absence of Jalen Johnson. He's a guy that the thing is it's a bad matchup against Houston, but he's going to have a ton of opportunity. You mentioned McCollum as well. I wanted to see what we have as far as our projections. I think we just figured that out. We kicked Johnson out. Let's see. We're giving Daniels 34, Nah 34, McCollum. I think Nah's playable. McCollum 31, Gay 28, Koloko 22. He's just not a great fantasy point minute player. Asa 16, Krejci 20. Yeah, Kisper 25, Wallace 5. He can handle the ball a little bit. Who's your favorite amongst Daniels, Nah, and McCollum? You said you like Gay the most, right? That makes the most sense. Also, you can throw him at power forward too, which is useful. He's got multi-position eligibility. We're assuming he's going to start. Kind of, I don't want to say he has to start, but we have seen Asa start a little bit. I don't think that would happen, but I'd be on alert for him because he's 3K, and he's not the worst large field play just in general. He would be in my pool if I was running 100 lineups at 3K. But your favorite amongst the guards, McCollum, Nah, and Daniels, who's your favorite amongst that group?
That's an easy one. It's Dyson Daniels.
Yeah.
He's put up. So let me see here. How's this? Yeah, so 3-point shot. Okay, 1 of 1 and 1 of 3 the last 2 games. So not bad. He's improving. But he's hit up 45 and 48 DK points the last 2 games. 51 a few games before that. He's hit these big numbers, and like you said, he's shooting terribly. So he can get there. Imagine if he does hit a couple 3-pointers, but also tonight in this matchup, Dean, with no point guard, and he's a defensive wizard, he could rack up a lot of defensive stats. Those ball handlers for Houston can be very careful. Amin Thompson, not a point guard. He can be very careless with the ball. Reed Shepard's not really a point guard. He could be careless. Dyson Daniels is going to get a lot of on-ball against whatever point guard is out there at that particular time for Houston. He could rack up a lot of defenses. I wouldn't be surprised if he walks away with 5 steals. It could be one of those types of games. So this Dyson Daniels pretty easy.
That's another thing that's down this year too, right? Last year he led the league by a good margin, 3 steals per game, which is outrageous. Down to 1.9, which is still really strong, right? Still very good. But it is down this year. I guess it kind of sort of have to be because 3 is just spectacular. Maddox in chat is asking if Şengün for sure is out. No, he's questionable. We don't know. We probably won't know until 7:00, but we'll see.
In defense of Maddox, he asked, does anyone know if Şengün is out for sure tonight? I'm sure Şengün knows.
Nobody in the show knows. That's fair.
Yeah, we don't know, but I'm sure he knows. Şengün knows.
You don't have sources? You don't have people in Houston?
I don't know. I don't speak Turkish.
That's disappointing. I was going to say you don't have a guy. And that's what's funny about that. Not funny, but seamless segue, Chop. Seamless segue. You ready for it? Clue number 3 for Fleet Thursday. Guys. You don't have a guy or guys. No boots in the ground. That's going to let you know about Şengün in Houston, or I guess in Atlanta this evening. Our third clue for Fleet Thursday. It is not it's not Big Bird. It's not Nah. It's not Joe Carter. It's not Bichette. It's not Vince Carter or Bret Hart. It's a good guess. Jose Batista, Vladimir Guerrero, Andre Dawson. Who was known as the Hawk. There you go. That's what you're doing there. Marshawn Lynch. A lot of guesses coming on through. Somebody guessed Tony Hawk, which is a good guess, but it's not. It is not Tony Hawk. Again, get the Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. Win a week free of RG Premium, all the bells, all the whistles, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, all the sports. It's not Connor McDavid or Amin Thompson. Shop, I noticed, again, I know you have to stay on task. You've yet to participate. Are you not playing? You won last time. You beat the entire chat. You just nothing coming to you, I guess?
Well, I was waiting because it's, I give you one. I don't even know if you just said this. I don't even know if you just said this was not a guy who was guessed. It wasn't.
It is not Vince Carter.
Not Vince. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I gotta think about it some more. It's tough to think about it sometimes. Half
man, half amazing. Done with Houston, Atlanta. It's a good game. It's very appealing. We're waiting for pieces. If Şengün's in, I think it's worth pointing out he's a really strong play. There's not a ton of, I guess there's places, but there's not a lot of obvious spots to spend your salary. If you want to go fully all the way up, but certainly he's an interesting piece. And I don't love KD in the third game of 4 nights in the back-to-back and traveling, but if Şengün is out, maybe Thompson's the better play amongst the big spend, but You figure one of those two will get you home, and maybe, just maybe, Jabari Smith if Şengün's out as well, because that'll kind of clear the way. And I'm sort of leaving the light on in some ways for Clint Capella. If we lose, I wasn't really joking about the revenge. I think he's really very much in play if we lose Şengün. We do have an if-then set up for it. Our if-then says 23 minutes, about 25 DK, 26 FanDuel as a median. So that's pretty strong. And I think there's a chance he plays a little bit more than 23 minutes. I don't know how much more, but a pinch more. Miami and Chicago, 239.5 is a total. Miami is a 1-point favorite. So this is like the perfect environment, Chop. We love this environment, high and tight, right? 240 and a 1-point line. You'd think this game would be amazing. I don't know if it is. Tyler Hero is still out. He's got those ribs. Jakob Jonas officially on the injury report, but he's available with his ankle. Jaime Jaquez is also on the injury report, available. Pele Larson available. Just like yesterday, it's the back half of a back-to-back for both these teams. Miami, of course, is the traveling team. Norm Powell is available, probable. Khalil Ware, probable with his hammy. Although we talked about this yesterday, we talked about it a couple days now. He's kind of buried. They're kind of burying him in Miami. They showcase players. They're doing the opposite of that. He's not been playing a heck of a lot of late. Wiggins is available. Everybody's available, with the exception of Tyler Hero and, Terry Rozier is still popping up the injury report. Davion Mitchell also out too. So it's the same scenario as yesterday. As for Chicago, Zach Collins still out. They did say everybody was going to be good to go the next day, but then they took that back, and Josh Giddey now was questionable with his hamstring. Trey Jones is still out. Jalen Smith is probable too. He had a nice little revenge game yesterday versus the Pacers. How do you see the Heat and the Bulls?
Yeah. Interesting game on paper. Can't say that I came across a lot of guys that I really, really liked in this game, but it's interesting for the reasons you said. I'm waiting on the Kobe White will not play tonight.
Oh.
I'm waiting on that one, Dean.
He's not in the injury report. I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah.
There's rumors in the air. There's murmurs.
Trade rumors?
Yes. So
to where?
Houston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll see if it pans out, but I don't know. That would. What's that?
Do you want him as a Rockets fan?
Yes.
It's like, is this will make you happy?
Man, I need a point guard, Dean. I cannot emphasize that enough. Need a point guard, and you're gonna need a point guard next year when Fred VanVleet comes back from knee surgery. It's not like he's gonna be able to come in and play. You're gonna have backup anyway that's capable. So why not just get him now? So yeah, I'd take any. Give me. Kobe's the one that's for trade, but Ayu Dosunmu's, I'd take him too. To be honest with you, I'd take anything. So we'll see that, but we'll see how that plays out. I wouldn't be shocked, within the next couple of games if Kobe is sitting down with something because, they're trying to keep him from getting injured because they're close to a deal. But otherwise, Giddey would be fine. Vooch is good in this game. He's all right. Higher pace game for these guys. They'll be all right. Bam is the one guy in the whole game that I probably have highlighted more than anybody else. I think it's a pretty good matchup for him. All things considered with Miami, with them being relatively healthy. Speaking of trades, Dean, I've seen a lot of Heat fans want to get rid of Norman Powell, man. Sell him high. Hope he makes an all-star game and sell him high. Sell high on him. So maybe that'll happen for you guys. But
Heat fans think they're getting like Giannis and John Morant somehow.
I actually did see I've seen a pretty good Heat package for Giannis, if that's what.
It's one of the best offers out there.
Yeah.
You're going to lose out. Like when you're trading the best player in the trade, you're almost always going to lose. But I don't know what Milwaukee can get where they can win the trade. Like, how do you trade Giannis and win a trade?
It's hard. You have to find a guy like OKC did that is undervalued but has superstar potential. He's only a year or two into his career, and you recognize it, but other teams don't quite recognize it. That's how you would win out. But otherwise, they're just fully healthy, like you said, except for Hero. It's not super exciting to have Powell, Wiggins, and Jaquez all in there. So I think they eat away from each other. Bam is the one guy I've highlighted in this game. I think is the best option to me. So that's where I'm at with that one. But
no Mitchell too, which is of note. We saw Smith play pretty well yesterday.
But what I don't understand, Dean, is How these New York Knicks fans think they're getting Giannis? Like you've got a bunch of 30-year-old guys and no first round picks. What do you?
And again, why would you trade for Cat? Like when you're rebuilding, like why would you do that? Cat's fine, but he is what he is, and he ain't getting any better.
And first round picks from 2035. These guys are delirious, man. Delusional.
Do you think he's getting Giannis? Producer Steve, is he under the illusion? That,
oh, my bad, Steve. I didn't know you were a Knicks fan. I thought you were a Nets fan.
But why are all the reporters saying that New York has the best shot of getting him?
Because they're getting clicks. You're clicking on it. Chop's clicking on it.
I'm not clicking on it at all.
I just don't know
I'm
how.
genuinely asking you because I'm not clicking it.
Yeah.
My guess would be it's all about the like Dean said, the clicks. I just don't know the package you could offer if you're New York. Like it's literally Cat.
It's a multi-team trade, is what I'm seeing. If the Knicks were to get him, it would end up sending like Bridges to Portland and someone.
OG.
I think OG was one that's not moved. Hart would be gone. Bridges would be gone. Cat might be gone. And then that would be it. Kolick? I don't know.
But like, who would Milwaukee get amongst all that nonsense? Like, what is Milwaukee
I'll
getting?
see if I can find the picture.
I get Bridges and Kolick. Like, I don't like. What are they going to get? I'm not sure. I'm kind of with you too, Trop. I don't really see it, but who knows?
I can see the Heat putting together a pretty good package.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best available, I guess, but it's probably still not good if you're a Milwaukee fan. Okay, it's this Miami-Chicago game is so weird because on paper it looks amazing, but when you start figuring out and projecting it out, it doesn't look great. Although if Giddey's out, Chicago pieces will become a little bit more appealing. We do have an if-then setup for that. If we happen to lose Giddey, Vuk would be a positive play. White would be a positive play. DeSumo would be a positive. Buzelis would have a big game yesterday. It's just none of them still feel like must plays for me. It's a great environment, but just everybody's just kind of priced where they should be. I wish I liked the game more. Is just kind of where I'm at, Chop, as far as Miami and Chicago. But
well, that's basically what I said. Good game on paper, but Bam is really the only guy I can really point to and say, I wouldn't mind playing Bam. Everybody else is kind of like, not so great.
Let's drop the fourth clue for Slate Thursday. Bird, Canada, guys, and accept. Accept is the fourth clue. It's not Steve Yzerman or Nicholas Lidstrom or Connor Bedard, Albert Pujols, or Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg? Is that based on like the Philadelphia kicker movie?
Vince Papale?
There you go. Which, by the way, they made up all that nonsense.
No, they didn't. That's real deal.
They made up some of it. There was some where he kicked like a big field goal or like a.
No, what?
There was something they did in the movie that was
Vince Papale. Vince Papale was a special teams player. He's a gunner on the punt team.
They had him do something like I can't remember if he kicked like a game-winning field goal. There was something
in the movie.
They made something up in the movie. Yeah.
No, maybe
you're not going to believe it.
Maybe they made up. No, I think he didn't kick a field goal in the movie. I think his like big crescendo was a punt. He covered a punt and forced a fumble.
Yeah, that didn't happen. I think
that did happen. They have real footage of it. Dean,
I don't know,
man.
They made something up.
Dean, poo Papale, man.
Am I thinking of Rudy? Maybe I'm thinking of Rudy.
Now Rudy
was offside.
Let me tell you about Rudy. Rudy, number one, yes, he was offsides. The teammates hated Rudy.
Yes, I heard
in real life. In real life, the team hated Rudy, man. They did not carry him off on his shoulders.
They did, but supposedly they did it sarcastically. Like they sarcastically carried him off on his shoulders. That's what I read. Invincible, by the way, is the movie we're talking about, the Philadelphia Eagles movie where he was a walk-on kicker for Mark Wahlberg. But yeah, and Joe Montana kind of poo-pooed a lot of the stories. Montana was, of course, not the Notre Dame team. And I don't know if you remembered Rudy. A lot of it was just sort of nonsense. But apparently the story is they sarcastically carried him off the field. But okay, we can scoot along. Next game, Hornets, Mavs, 226.5. That's the total. The Hornets are 4-point favorites. Both these teams playing the back half of a back-to-back. As far as who's in and who's out, well, Dallas is ruling players out Musa Cisse is officially questionable in the G League. No Anthony Davis, no Derek Lively. They're resting Najee Marshall. He played too much yesterday. Brandon Williams also questionable. Nembhard is probable. Klay Thompson is probable as well with his knee. As far as Charlotte's, Brandon Miller officially probable. Nothing else of notes, right? Plum Dog's out. He's been out. You're just going to have the subdued minutes of LaMelo because it's the back half of a back-to-back. We're expecting Cooper Flagg back because he's not on the injury report. You got to pay for him, and the matchup's tough. Like the way Charlotte's been playing, their offense has been great. The defense has been really solid of late. How are we feeling about the Hornets in Dallas?
Yeah, decent little game here. Charlotte's putting things together, doing a nice job here. So, nobody projects like off the charts here for this team. They're just getting it done with everybody. If you're going to twist my arm and say who's my favorite player from Charlotte, it's probably Diabate because he saves you. He's a little bit cheaper than the other four guys ahead of him. Ball, Miller, Bridges, Knipple. So, and Diabate's got a pretty decent matchup in here against this Dallas front line. So, yeah, that's the guy. Everybody's real tight on that Charlotte team and not doing too much. Cooper Flagg is okay. Najee Marshall, 71's a bit much for that. PJ.
Najee's out, Chop.
Yeah, okay. PJ Washington, 6,600, Dean. I remember when we got him for $3K opening night.
Opening night, yeah.
Good time.
Some people are like, I don't know if I'm going to play him or not. Like, what do you do?
But we're way past that at 66. Brandon Williams is solid, Dean. Brandon Williams is solid. So Diabate and Williams are my two favorite players from this game. But again, the more I look at the slate, the more we go through it, the more I think I'm going to be stacking a whole lot of like two different games, and the rest of it's just going to be one-offs.
Yeah, Williams is questionable. Just going to keep an eye on that. Flagg would be more appealing if I think there's going to be at least somewhat of a minutes limit on him. I think we're giving him 32. I just don't know how much beyond that he can go. I'm just a little bit concerned that there's going to be somewhat of a minutes limit. I've not seen that or heard that, but just my head kind of tells me he's probably not going to play 35 plus. And again, Charlotte's played pretty good, but it's going to be point Flagg, I think. I imagine, especially if we lose Williams. So, he's in play, I suppose, for that reason. And then how do you play LaMelo? You just can't, right? 25 minutes we're giving him. He's a great fantasy point minute player, but is he somebody that can really pay off that 7.6 price tag? I don't think so. And then he plays enough to eat off everybody else. So nobody looks great. You mentioned Diabate. Diabate was awesome. By the way, two Musas in this game. Two Musas. Diabate and Cisse. Assuming Cisse plays, he's officially questionable. Not sure if he's available or not in the G League. But I'm kind of with you. I don't really like this game as if we're going to power rank the 8 games, this would not be one of my favorites. This would not be on the podium. Probably not cracking the top 5. Anything else to say here as far as Charlotte and Dallas?
Nah. Moving on.
All right, let's give the 5th clue. We got to get a winner here for Fleet Thursday. You guessed Jerome Bettis. It's not the bus.
I'm just taking a wild one, Dean. I don't know.
What's the thought process on Bettis? What am I missing?
The last clue, except I'm thinking just threw it out there, except maybe you're talking about a coin toss, and he had the famous coin toss, so I just threw the name out there. I don't have a clue so far.
So Jerome Bettis' famous coin toss was he called heads or he calls tails, and the ref heard him differently. And he changed his call, and it screwed him over because he was going to receive the ball if the ref heard him correctly, but not. The ref flipped it for whatever reason, and then all of a sudden Pittsburgh got screwed. The other famous coin toss is Matt Hasselbeck, who said, "We want the ball, and we're going to score."
I remember that. I remember watching that live.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a third famous coin toss. Those are the first two that come to mind. Yeah, the 5th clue is scrolling. It is England. England is the 5th clue. Bird, Canada, guys, except England. Canada, England, Bird, guys, and except. I do have bonus clues if necessary. 20 minutes or so, crunch time coming in, knocking on the door. You got TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. You got Taylor and Kirkwood, Kirkdiese as well, joining the show. Pistons, Suns, 214. Ooh, gross. 214.5 is the total here, Chop, for the Pistons and the Suns. Suns are 4 or 5 point dogs here at home, in part because they're they're without Devin Booker. Devin Booker's out. Colin Gillespie's questionable with his hand. Jalen Green, man, he's like the Grandpa Simpson gif, you know. He shows up for a game and then he's gone. He's walking in the door, walking out the door, and can't get that hamstring right, unfortunately for him, and he's out once again. The Pistons are fully healthy with the exception of Karis LeVert. So the Pistons, tricky part of them, they have too many dudes. Like, you're just begging for 30 minutes at a Jalen Duren. Cade's their guy. Everybody else just, priced where they should be priced. Cade's an interesting spend up that nobody's going to play. How are you seeing Detroit and Phoenix? I'm told by producer Steve that we do have a winner in the Discord channel. We do have a winner from a repeat winner, IBC. IBC took it down. We'll give these clues and the reasoning why soon enough before crunch time comes in. But talk to me about Phoenix and Detroit again. Chop again, another kind of underwhelming game. Yes.
It's a very underwhelming game. Detroit features a really good defense this year. They're really tough to score on, so that's not good. And Phoenix, props to them, man. They have not mailed it in just because they traded away Durant. They've been pretty adequate this year, and they play at a slow pace and they make it tough on you. So this is not. Yeah, I'm not in love with this game. Cade Cunningham's too expensive. All things considered, Duren's okay, but he's 7,700. Grayson Allen, huge disappointment last game when, Colin Gillespie got ruled out after lock, and you thought, oh, Grayson Allen's going to blow up now because he was doing well. He was doing well with Gillespie, and then he had a bad game. Gillespie coming off the injury. Yeah, I don't know. This is just not appealing to me. I mean, Dylan Brooks was the one that had a good game, and this is going to be a dirty game right here because Detroit's a dirty team.
It's a Dylan Brooks kind of game.
Yeah, it's a Dylan Brooks kind of game. So maybe he's the guy, but him or Grayson Allen are the two guys. If I twist my arm and say Detroit, you have to pick one guy, I'd probably say Duren, but I'm not in love with this game either. But Grayson Allen and Dylan Brooks under 7K on DraftKings still kind of hold some value. So that's where I'm at with this game.
You don't get fantasy points for it, but I'm thinking about technical fouls. It feels like Dylan Brooks, beef stew. This feels like the kind of game where if you can find a line for technical fouls.
Yeah, there's probably going to. I'm literally. Is there a line on? Will there be an ejection in this game? I would say yes. Give me some decent odds on yes, and I would load up on it.
Let's see. It looks like Brooks is leading the NBA this year, and Tex at 9, and Beef Stew is second at 7. So there you go. Look at that. Did not plan that. Devin Booker, by the way, 5. He'll be on the bench. He might be chirping and saying something, but yeah. So not surprising. Those guys are 1-2, Brooks and Stewart. There will be a moment at some point they'll probably be jawing at each other. We got a winner in the Discord channel. Do you want to tell the people how we got there, or shall we knock out these next 2 games first?
Please, let's know. We need to know how this is all took shape because I have no clue.
Okay, so Bird tells you what team this player plays for. They play for one of the Bird teams. Now, there are a lot of Bird teams, obviously, but you can kind of whittle it down from there. Canada, this person's first name is probably the most popular Canadian. Well, I don't know if popular. The popularity has been waning, I think, my understanding. Well-known Canadian personalities, sports fans. 3 tells you the number of this person. When I tell you guys, if we're playing like match game, space guys. 5 guys. So we know this person's number 5. Accept tells you their position. When you accept something, Chop, you receive it. You accept it. You receive it. 5 is England. So the 2 countries just tell you this person's name. The most popular personality, known person from Canada, Drake. And the most popular city in the country of England is London. We're talking, of course, about Drake London, who plays for the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are Birds. Number 5, wide receiver. There you go. I don't know where that came from. I don't know what inspired me to pick Drake London, but that's where we're at. And there you go. Does that all make sense, Chop? Is that good enough? Is that,
No, not really.
You've heard of Drake, right? And you've heard of this, the London
So Canada was
for
what?
Drake.
Drake. Okay, guys was
Five guys.
that. See that one? You lost me on that one. That one's I don't like that one.
Number 5.
5 guys. I'm supposed to like put the 5 on. Okay.
Well, what else is guys?
Except receive because he's a receiver.
Yeah.
And England, London. Okay, I can do. I don't know. Not your best effort, that's for sure. But okay, whatever.
Maybe it wasn't your best effort.
Not sure, but I think I've proven my merit in this game when the clues are good.
You've had good efforts. Wait, somehow, yeah, the clues are better when you know it.
Correct.
Brooklyn, Denver. If you thought the total in Detroit, Phoenix was gross, I have a grosser one for you. How gross is it? So 209 and a half. I don't want to steal the hook. 209 and a half. Brooklyn, all the revenge in the world. MPJ. They got to give him a video, I imagine. Video package. Here's a wide open shot that Joker set you up for. Yeah, so the Nets are 7-point dogs. I think this is the front half. Yeah, front half for Brooklyn for both these teams. Front half of back-to-back. Joker's coming back soon-ish, but not tonight. No Joker tonight. Aaron Gordon, they just said, is going to be out like a month or so, or maybe 6 weeks. Yeah, that's a bummer for Denver. He's going to be out for a bit. Christian Brown is still out. Cam Johnson is still out. Jamal Murray officially on the injury report, probable with his hamstring. Jonas Valanciunas also on the injury report, probable with his calf. Brooklyn, no Clowney. Jaeger Yeoman is out. Terrence Mann officially in with his back. Cam Thomas is out with his hammy. No Zaire Williams. He's out with a calf. They are down to, I think they have 11, right? They got 11 bodies. I think both these teams have 11 bodies officially. Can we get knocked down to 10? I don't think so. Well, I guess we can, but nobody is currently questionable. So this is gross, Chop. It's kind of gross. 209 and a half. There's spend ups if you want Murray. Jonas Valanciunas certainly can compile a bunch of fantasy points if they give him 30 minutes or so. MPJ's got to really score 30 points. He certainly can. I assume he's going to be chucking. How you feeling about the Nets and the Nugs?
It's okay. It's probably like it better than the last game. I think Michael Porter Jr. is in play here. Not, the revenge stuff is like a bonus. It's a cherry. It's just a relatively good matchup for him at this point in time. So I do like Michael Porter Jr. The rest of them, you'd have to sell me on Claxton, Sharp, Wolf, Mann, any of those guys. They don't really do it. But Michael Porter Jr. is a fine play. I do want to do some Jamal Murray tonight because, like, without the players that they're down, and like obviously Jamal becomes a great player DFS wise. I'm a little leery of this matchup. If you haven't, if people are not aware, Brooklyn is not a terrible defensive team anymore, and they really kind of shut down point guards in a big way. Like they can be really strict on point guards. So. But Jamal Murray's going to get so much usage and all that other good stuff. I think he's a great play at like right around 5% ownership mark. I think he's a great play for this kind of a slate. I actually got a lot of love for Jonas Valanciunas tonight. I think he's in a pretty good spot here against this front line for Brooklyn. He's going to get, I think I was diving into his minutes earlier today. Solid minutes. Got up over 30 last game.
Yeah.
If you could, he's always been that kind of a guy where if it was only about keeping him on the court, if you could get him and keep him on the court, he was always going to produce, always. So at 65, if you're going to give me 28 plus minutes out of this guy, he's going to beat that price tag. So I do like him a lot tonight. You could sell me on Peyton Watson if you had to, but at 72, he's kind of creeping up around the range where, I'm not going to go overboard on him, and I've never been like a Hardaway fantasy guy, and the rest of these guys don't do it for me. But Jonas is great. Murray's a really good GPP play, and I love Michael Porter's volume tonight.
I assume he's going to be firing away for sure. To the point about your pace and the total, yeah, Brooklyn's second slowest team in basketball. Denver is like 5th or 6th. Two really, really slow teams. Defensively on the year, Brooklyn is like 5th or 6th worst. And their last 15 games, they've been worse than that, I believe. Second worst. But again, you're getting less possessions, which is of note. By the way, our guy Broccoli Boy in chat, shout out Broccoli Boy, says I'm slipping because I did not make a Seinfeld reference. I was going to, but I thought that you would like lose your mind. The chat would lose their minds because it's a really very specific reference for Love the Drake. You know, if you've watched Seinfeld, you've heard that before, but I don't think people know that reference mostly. You know, it's Love the Drake. Which, by the way, I was curious as I was doing research. This is what I was researching. I guess it's still a thing. Apparently, I thought they went away. I guess Drake's Cakes, they still exist in some capacity. So there you go. Get excited.
Drake. So Love the Drake was talking about Drake's Cakes.
Yeah, that was the.
Huh.
Do you remember this episode many years ago? It's still running.
My memory's a little fuzzy on that, but
that's what I figured. I figured nobody would know.
I thought it was I thought the Drake was like the conductor guy, a conductor or something.
Well, I think it was a person too, but I think it was also a Drake's Cake.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. And I think it was sold, and like whoever owned Little Debbie maybe bought it. I don't know. This is the research I was doing in between doing basketball research. But then I was like, you know what? Nobody knows who Drake is. By the way, we know who Alexander Sarr is, and he's available. He's playing tonight, as is Cole Anthony. So Cole Anthony's in, so I guess that means they're not going to play Ryan Rollins 48 minutes. They do have a backup point that can handle the ball. And that's kind of circling back to the start of the show, Milwaukee, Washington. What are the most appealing spots on the slate? Are you running one lineup tonight, Chop? You're running 20? How many are you running?
20. I got to get on the board, Dean. Last couple single lineups for me having cash. I need to get on the board. It's like getting fouled and shooting a free throw when you're in a slump. You need to see the ball go in the hoop. You need to see a cash. You need to see a cash and get back on track. So we're on.
Even if you hit the 1 out of 20, you're still cashed. It's still something.
Yeah, you'll see the green on your screen, so that'll do something to you, and maybe that'll get a rebound going.
I don't know how I won last night. Like I netted maybe $50, but I was like I couldn't. I what 50 more than entries. I don't know how that. Because I made some terrible teams. I think everybody's. It was just a bad slate, right? A lot of players were bad. But I kind of closed the laptop on it. And I'm like, oh, wow, how am I currently winning? But there you go. I don't know why that just spawned from yesterday. But a lot of us, you don't necessarily, like sometimes you put up 330 and you still don't cash because, the slate is wide open and 350 is what you needed. Brooklyn, Denver, down on that. Let's talk about the hammer. The hammer that is OKC, Minnesota. 228.5, that's the total. Minnesota is a 6-point dog here at home. This is important. Rudy Gobert is still questionable, Chop. Gobert is questionable. Mike Conley is out. This is the back half of a back-to-back for Minnesota, right? Yeah, they played yesterday. OKC is, the third team that's on an island game. Did not play yesterday, not playing tomorrow. As far as the Thunder, they do get Hartenstein. Hartenstein is back. He's not in the injury report. Kason Wallace still on the injury report. He's got a hip. Jalen Williams, the good Jalen Williams, still out with his hamstring. Alex Caruso still out. He's got an adductor strain. AJ Mitchell is also out with an illness. Chop, it's not that hard to find the money to pay up for SGA. He's beat up Minnesota pretty good. He's put up at least 58 or 59 DK points the last 4 times he's played. They played twice this year. One of the games, he dropped a 40 spot. Actual just points in the bucket. Is he still going to be, is he going to be in the single digits? That's what he was earlier today. And I think he's a really interesting spend up on this slate. Spend it to be different and get SGA, and also pretty decent chance he plays the fourth quarter. And when he plays the fourth quarter, he's playing 35 minutes these days, 35, 36. He's one of my favorites, like spend up tournament plays that, again, the way things stand, I don't think he's going to get played a heck of a lot. How are you feeling about the Thunder and Minnesota? And should note that if Gobert doesn't go, I think Nas is really interesting.
Nas becomes a lock, Dean. He becomes a lock.
Lock button.
If Gobert. This is the sneakiest best game on the board. Sneaky best. Now, obviously, the Milwaukee, some of the other games we talked about are just for raw points or better. This is the sneakiest best game on the board because, like you just alluded to, it's in Minnesota. I just don't think OKC is going to pull away. I know Minnesota's not going to pull away and be up so much in the fourth quarter that you don't get, the stars. And I don't think OKC is going to be able to pull away either. So I think you're going to get the full run from all the good players in this game. And like you mentioned, SGA, great spot, great great history versus this edition of the Minnesota team. So you got that going for you. You know, you could sell me if you want on Chet and Wiggins or whatever if you really needed to. But SGA, I think, is in a great spot. And just digging into OKC this year, they're not the same defense they were last year. They're not quite as good this year. They give up a lot at the three-point line. They really do give up a lot of – they really funnel everything to the three-point line. They give up a lot. Anthony Edwards is one of the most prolific three-point shooters. He's developed into that. He's worked on it. He's one of the incredible volume from the three-point line for him with about a 40 to 41% accuracy shot. Like he's become a great three-point shooter. Well, that's how you beat this team. And to be honest with you, you mentioned the SGA history against Minnesota. Well, his history this year against OKC in this version of this defense, that kind of pans out. He's put up a 49.5 and a 57 burger on him in 2 games. So he hits his threes and he has good games here. So if Gobert sits and we get Naz Reid, that's all Naz Reid does is sit out there and shoot 3-pointers. Like he'll torch this team from the outside. So I like it. I like Edwards versus SGA if you can find a way to fit that in your lineup as a GPP play. I like those 2 big spin-ups in this game. Otherwise, you could pick out a Naz Reid, a DiVincenzo, or even a Julius Randle. All those guys have not met a three-point shot that they don't like. And that's the way I would like to attack OKC. I'd one-off one of them. You know, I just think it's a good game altogether, Dean. But I like those 2 stars in this game going at each other.
Our most recent batch of ownership, nobody in this game is projected to be double digits as far as ownership. Yeah, it's just the way we have it right now is it's not going to be played. That's on DK. I think that's the same on FanDuel, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll give a peek on FanDuel as well. Just so okay, so SGA 11.6% on FanDuel, a little bit more on FanDuel. But yeah, basically the similar point. Now that would change, obviously, if Gobert is out, Naz would jump up. What is our projection? I know we have an if then, or I thought we have an if then for Gobert. Yeah, Naz would get a 33 minutes will be their projection, 33 FanDuel, 34 DK as a median. So yeah, he would look pretty strong. He would be the only like positive play on both sites would just be Naz, but certainly wouldn't hurt some other players as well incrementally. All right. What's up with the chat? What's going on in the chats? Oh, I got derailed for a second. I was reading something. Yeah, chat was talking about how low the scores were yesterday for some players. At least I think that was just the deal across the board. Sean Mannion was just hired as the Eagles offensive coordinator. Quarterback for Oregon State. Yeah. All right. I don't know what he was doing recently, but
Green Bay.
Oh, was he the OC there in Green Bay?
No, I think he was the quarterback coach. I'm not sure.
Okay. Do we care about this? Do we have a thought, or you have to? I don't really know. Yeah, is that a big deal? People Philadelphia.
I mean, maybe he's one of the young up and. I mean, under LaFleur probably knows a little something. The problem that he's going to run into, or anybody who takes the job, Dean, is you got to learn to speak Jalen Hurts, and that's the problem. I just don't think Jalen's all that great of a quarterback. I think the best – they were unstoppable when Barkley and that offensive line were just humming that one year. Otherwise, Jalen Hurts, I don't think. So, I don't know. Maybe he can they did a great job with Malik Willis down there in Green Bay, so maybe this is his reclamation project.
I assume he's coming to Miami, but Miami's already gotten 2 pieces out of that Green Bay organization as far as their coach and I think their new GM or whatever. Yeah. I'm assuming Willis is next, but I don't know. That's what people down here are assuming. They're kind of connecting the dots. Derek's got a question in chat. DK tournaments, Diabate or Williams? We don't know about Williams. He's questionable, but assume Williams is in. Do you want to play? I assume this is got to be for the utility spot. Do you want Diabate or you want Williams?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of talked about Diabate. I think he's in a pretty decent spot. I'd say Diabate.
I would too, especially with flag back. I think that's going to hurt Williams. I'm not terribly excited about Williams tonight. Back half of back-to-back, and he's questionable. And Flag will be handling the ball a good bit. We should have the crunch time getting fully assembled. TJ Zwarych as well as Kirkwood. And it's not Roth today. And yeah, I think TJ is playing the role of Roth. Taylor also jumping in here. You got D Mills is telling us in chat, we need plums. Give me some plums.
You need some juicy plums.
Give it to
like
us.
Alexander Sarr. You need the juicy plums. I mean, I'm taking a chance tonight. This guy kind of typically sucks, but I'm taking a chance tonight on the guy. I think it's a great matchup for him. I was going Miles Turner here to grab some rebounds and hit some 3-point shots and maybe more than pay off that salary. Blow past that salary.
Who has the best revenge game tonight? Capella, Kuzma, Ryan Rollins, MPJ.
Oh, man. I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to have a little something in the holster tonight.
Giddey officially ruled out. Grimes ruled out. Grimes doesn't matter a ton.
Giddey
being out.
That's big.
That's going to adjust some of
it's big.
Some of our Chicago stuff. Kobe White, DeSumo get a little bit of bumps. Bazewas probably incremental bumps across the board. Maybe Herter a little bit of a bump. We'll see what the projections reflect. Vuk probably gets a couple more shots. The matchup against Miami is not pristine, but yeah, that'll be
So they're either showcasing Kobe White tonight or he's going to get a quick hook. So you play that as you will. Either Kobe's.
It's a trade deadline's a week from today, next Thursday.
Not necessarily like a quick hook to get traded tonight, but a hook as in like we're not gonna overwork you to where you get hurt before the trade deadline. So either he's going to showcase and have a big game, or he's going to play his normal minutes, and IU's going to step up and play more. So I don't know.
Steve, let me know. Oh, there we are. All right, crunch time is officially assembled. Kirkwood, we got TJ Zwarych as well as Taylor. 2 Taylors and Kirkwood. Let's do it. Let's see what's the segue. It's crunch time right now. What up, TJ? You are playing the role of Roth today?
Yes, sir. Stepping in as host and just having a little mini tilt because I wanted to get that Chicago news after lock because I was playing that as Giddey's going to be out.
So, who are you really loving? I don't really love anybody with Giddey out. Guys get bumped up a little bit, but now
everyone looks really good now with him out. Like Kobe White projects really well. Ayo Dosunmu projects really well. Kevin Herter is a good value. Buzelis looks good. Vucevic looks good. So yeah, kind of the whole team now.
Just not one standout person. Just everybody gets a little taste.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm seeing it too. Where it's like, well, who's the one guy? Well, there's not really one guy necessarily. All right, Taylor Smith, Kirkwood. How we doing? Things doing all right?
Happy to be here, Dean. Glad our beef was squashed last week. Good to see everybody and all that.
Speaking of beefs,
your beef might be squashed. I don't know about Kirkdiese's.
Kirkwood's still mad at me, I think. He's still very angry at me. I apologize. I
just don't like you. That's all. It's fine.
Oh, well, that's fine. Okay, fair enough. I appreciate the honesty. Chop, anything you want to say before you step aside and get out of here? And I go cry.
No, I have to leave on that note.
You couldn't seamlessly segue. That's Chop. I was Dean. This is Crunch Time. TJ, it's all yours.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to RotoGrinders NBA Crunch Time. Time for 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz to break it down for you. All that, I'll sprinkle in a little bit of analysis in there as well. First up, joining me, we heard from a little bit. Hopefully soon able to squash that beef with Dean Kirkdiese. How you doing, my friend?
Doing well, thank you. We'll give the final finger update, but only with Rothers here, is that it did come back benign, so we're all good.
Heck yeah. Congratulations. Happy to hear it. Hopefully it ends up healing up soon, but at least the worst has been ruled out. Joining us as well, it's weird to see you not on a weekend, Taylor. How you doing?
Yeah, it is kind of weird. I think I'm on both days this weekend, though, so back to normal on that. But doing well. Kind of a crazy slate. A lot of back-to-backs. A lot of revenge going on. So Should be fun.
I will keep it with you, Taylor. Why don't you give us your overview of today's slate and what news we are still waiting on?
Yeah, so we did get Josh Giddey out. That just came down. We have Atlanta stuff. Jalen Johnson is out. Okongwu's out. They're still without Porzingis, Reese Shea. Westbrook is out. Probably not a huge one there, but it is something. Gobert's questionable. I think Anthony Edwards, was he questionable? Is that a thing? Najee Marshall's out. Cooper Flag is in. Devin Booker's still out. Nuggets still have value and all that. Brooklyn has guys out. It's kind of a disaster. As far as news we're waiting on, I think it's mainly Gobert. Şengün is questionable. And Colin Gillespie is another pretty big one.
A lot of stuff that we're waiting on, a lot of stuff that we already got. Crazy slate today. Kirkdiese, I will start with you breaking down DraftKings point guard. You can start there. Who do you like?
All right. I was trying to get some projections going for the news. All right. At point guard on DraftKings, we've got my favorite play. I mean, the guy who's just the best play, at least on paper, is Ryan Rollins. First of all, I mean, we just saw what these guys on Milwaukee can do, and it wasn't even a close game, so they all got burned for a little bit of minutes. So their minutes would have been much higher. But they're massive roles for basically four people on the Bucks without Giannis, and that's Ryan Rollins, Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, and Miles Turner. So Rollins is the best point guard play on the slate, in my opinion. It's just the matchup with the Wizards. They're just like the worst in every single category. I'm not even going to spit them off. They're just terrible. So, and it's also a 2-point spread this game. So we're hoping it stays close. We're hoping we get big minutes, and there's just value all over the place. And people are going to move off of some of this stuff. I don't think they'll move off of Rollins or Portis, but some of the other guys might get a little bit lower on because of the Chicago news that just hit. So there is a lot of news everywhere, but Rollins is my play first and foremost. From there, I think that you can play for a stud perspective. If you want to try to fit SGA, obviously this is a phenomenal spot for him because it's a game that projects to be close, a good game with against Minnesota on Amazon. Maybe he probably carries this team. He's 10.8, which is totally doable. We got value flying in all over the place. And speaking of which, we also have some news from the Hawks, with people out. So Dyson Daniels is going to be in play at point guard as well. And then you can play Trey Johnson on Washington, but he's also shooting guard eligible. You can play Jamal Murray, because one of my favorite plays, which going to spoil. We say the word revenge too easily, and in this day and age here in DFS, everybody's got revenge. 4 different teams they played against, yada yada yada. Michael Porter Jr. has real revenge, and this is the first time he's back in Denver. He'll probably get hit with the special treatment, the tribute video, and all of that. So this is a big game for Michael Porter Jr., so I'm going to love him. And if you want someone to run it back with, you're going to take either Jamal Murray, Peyton Watson, or JV. So Jamal Murray, I think, is definitely a good play. And then for a cheapie, if you need some, Reed Shepherd's in play at 4,500, and I'll let Taylor take the rest. Sorry, I went a little long.
All good, no problem whatsoever. If you do have any questions, we'll be taking them after we go position by position. Make sure you get them into the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat. I will be going there first. YouTube chat, I'll be going to you second. All we ask is that you smash that like button. Taylor, who do you like at point guard? CJ McCollum projecting to be the highest owned guy. I get it. I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Especially looking at Schroeder and Trey Johnson up there too. It's like, that's not my favorite 3 to play at high ownership.
It's kind of a bad position, which is rare for point guard, but I don't like that either. I think the Atlanta stuff makes sense. Like no Johnson, no Trae Young, obviously no Okongwu, no Porzingis. There's just a lot of usage available. CJ has been happy to take that since he showed up. But it is Houston. He will probably see some Amen Thompson while he's out there. Houston is on a back-to-back, and they are a little shorthanded. Could be even more shorthanded without Şengün if he's out. So it's okay. I think I'd rather play CJ than Dyson Daniels. I think they're both okay. But I would like to be at most even with the field. Probably ideally lower on both. But, I see why they're popping. I think the SGA call is awesome. There's a lot of okay value on the slate and not a ton to pay all the way up for. So I think he's a great play in that game that should be close against Minnesota. I think Maxey is somewhat interesting in a good spot against the Kings. I think Embiid's probable. You never really know with Embiid if he's going to be actually probable or if they rule him out or whatever. But as of now, I assume he's playing, but I think Maxey's still okay. I agree about Rollins just being the obvious best overall option. No Giannis, no KPJ. He's playing the Wizards. I think this is a revenge game as well. So that's fine. Shepard's okay. Schroeder's okay. I think Shepard, if Şengün is out, naturally just looks a little better. And then I think Amen Thompson is a really good tournament play. Who will look better with Embiid or with Şengün out. But even if he's in, I think low 8s for Amen in a pretty good game environment is interesting.
All right, I think it's shooting guard.
Yeah, so shooting guard, several of the same guys, Reed Shepard, Dennis Schroeder, CJ you can play here, Nah you can play here. Same thing with Nah as Dyson and CJ. I'm not excited about it, but I get it. The Josh Giddey news, I think, makes Kobe White and Kevin Huerter look pretty good. Kevin Huerter with Trey Jones already out should have had a path to more minutes. He's 4K flat. He's shooting guard, small forward. I think he's an awesome play. Keyshawn for the Wizards, his price has come up, but the minutes have been pretty strong for their main guys lately. Good game environment against Milwaukee's sort of skeleton crew. I think he's okay. Trey Johnson, similar thing. Anthony Edwards, if you want to pay all the way up, is decent. It's a tough spot, but it is Anthony Edwards. He can still pay off that salary. Brandon Williams, if he's in, I think is fine without Najee Marshall. Should be plenty of usage available for him. And I don't want to do it, but I think Trey Mann is viable, or Terrence Mann, rather, is viable. 3-4, a lot of absences for Brooklyn. Wouldn't do it if he's mega popular, but it doesn't look like he will be anymore. I think he's okay if you need a punt.
All right, Kirkdiese, how about you? Shooting guard.
Yeah, Keyshawn George is my favorite. I mean, I just love this game in general. So he's the guy I want first. So I like that. Yeah, I think you can play CJ. I think the ownership may be a little high, but he probably will be up there. So you have to be concerned. But, if there's ever a spot for him to do something, it's probably this with Jalen Johnson out, who's just has massive usage for the Hawks. Anthony Edwards, always a fine play for a stud. Kevin Durant, potentially, if Şengün's out, to just put more on his plate. Back-to-back, it's a little scary, but certainly in play. Again, you can play Reed Shepard. You can play Dennis Schroeder because Westbrook is out. Norman Powell is decent play. Grayson Allen potentially is a good play. And Kobe White now because of that news that hit.
All right, small forward.
All right, small forward. This is where I like Michael Porter Jr. I already gave my little spiel. This is real revenge. He's also an elite player, in games that are competitive with his usage, where he's seeing almost 30+%. And I think he went at 35% in his last game or something like that. Kyle Kuzma is the next play. He came through for me the other night, so I owe him a shot to stay in the starting lineup for my lineups. But he's on watch. He's on notice. We know what this guy can do. He can be very good. He can be very bad. But the role is there. And this is also a semi-revenge, loose said revenge game. I'll throw out there too. So I like him. Who else here? Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, just because, especially more if Gillespie ends up sitting again, but without Booker and also without the Jalen Green minutes now off the bench. Just a lot of usage up for grabs. And those two are they're good guard plays. Brandon Miller, is he's probable tonight? Is that true? Whatever he is, if he plays, I love him. I always love him. This dude is nasty. He was going to have a huge game in his last one. He was sporting over 30% usage, and they blew out Memphis. So didn't have the best second half, but it's all there. And the game breaks right, he can go nuts. So I like him. I also like Peyton Watson a lot, and I know Hoosiers. Hank Banners asked in chat if I like Watson or Bazelis. Who do I prefer? I like Watson. So that's on Yahoo. Let's see here. A Cooper Flag is like completely low-owned play. Probably doesn't have the upside where I should be talking about him because of like his minutes cap. But this is point Cooper Flag, going to be running the offense. I've seen weirder things. I think he could end up being a pretty decent play tonight. So for GPPs, if you want to take a little gamble here, he's there. And then another interesting play from the Miami side is Jaime Jaquez with some of the guys out. And that's it.
We did just get news that Joel Embiid officially in and Malik Monk has been ruled out. Taylor, who do you like for small forward?
Schroeder now. We have to, huh?
Yeah, I thought the Schroeder fade was pretty easy. But with Monk out, I kind of feel like I got to play him a bit more now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but makes sense. I agree about Porter being like the top overall guy here. It's a great spot. Like Denver, even if I'm revenge, Denver is pretty weakened defensively without Gordon, without Brown on the wing, Cam Johnson also out. So a lot of avenues for him. He's just going to get a ton of usage. There's no Cam Thomas and a bunch of other guys out for the Nets. So kind of all systems go. I don't feel that great about a chalk Nets player, but at least it's a good one. Other than that, I think Kuz is okay. Kind of stuffed the stat sheet in the last game. Don't really ever bank on that from him, but still cheap. No Giannis, obviously, so decent spot. I mentioned Herter being a really good value at 4K at shooting guard. Obviously, you can play him at small forward too. Watson's a solid mid-range guy. I think KD, even if she didn't play, is still fine. The minutes have been very strong from him. In general, they don't really have a way to bench him. Like they need all the scoring they can get. Not scared about the matchup against Atlanta. And if Şengün's out, he's probably a priority. So, building with KD either way is totally fine. Royce O'Neal's okay. I like the Brandon Miller call. Brooks and Allen, probably more secondary plays for me in a tough spot, but still viable.
All right, take us to power forward.
Yeah, so we have some chalk here with Mo Gay and Bobby Portis. We mentioned Atlanta being without several front court pieces. Gay kind of has to play a lot by default. They really don't have a lot of bigs. Even if he's not starting, which I think he will start, but you never know. But off the bench, just given the way they are like that thin, still fine with it. Even against Houston, he's super cheap. Portis without Giannis and KPJ just has a lot of usage. We've seen this over the years without Giannis, so nothing really new there. Pricey, but it's the Wizards, so really good spot. Talked about Kuz a little bit. I think Jalen Smith without Giddey is pretty interesting. The Miami-Chicago game has a high total and a tight spread, and I don't think it's going to get like a ton of attention. The Milwaukee-Washington game and the Denver-Brooklyn game seem chalkier. So I kind of like getting to these bull pieces and add Budelis to that list at 5'9". If you need a full punt, I think Atlanta's going to have to play Asa Newell, some minutes off the bench. He's 3K flat. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, especially if you want to pivot off of the Gay ownership. Danny Wolf is always kind of interesting with Brooklyn shorthanded. A lot of bodies out for them. He can rack them up in a hurry. Could see blowout if the game blows out, of course. I think he's decent. A cheap story. Sabonis, I think, is better on FanDuel, but still okay on DK without Russ and Monk, but not worth prioritizing.
One of the reasons I like playing a lot of Mo Gay tonight as well, especially at the center position or at utility, is because if we get Şengün ruled out after walk, you can just pivot that right to Clint Capella. And I think I'd like him a little bit better in that spot. Kirkdiese, how about you, power forward?
Yeah, Capella would be an awesome play if he's out. So that's probably the sharp way to handle things. Bobby Portis, Mo Gay, they're both hard to get away from tonight. Portis, Portis could have a bad game in him too, but he was on his way to have huge minutes, a huge role, and he's playing Washington. Like, you don't have to overthink this spot. Buzelis, I think, is a fine play now with Giddy out. Peyton Watson again. I think you can play Sabonis. Better play on FanDuel, like Taylor was saying, but certainly in play. Peyton Watson. Newell, just because he's 3K, but man, doesn't feel good. Danny Wolf doesn't feel good either. The guys that Taylor was saying. What is just big braining something here? What's Jabari Smith's price?
He's above 6K, I think. He's 6,100.
Yeah, 6K. He could. So, first of all, this is homecoming for him. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. Nobody probably talks about that or knows about that. And if Şengün is out, and with the other pieces all out, like he could be like the guy that smashes tonight at 6K that nobody's going to play. So, I mean, he'll get a little bit of play, but not much. So, I think that's pretty interesting. And then, there's not a ton to like at this spot except for the chalk.
All right, take us to center.
Center. Okay. Well, we get Miles Turner or Bobby Portis. Both awesome plays. Bobby Portis is the power forward eligible. Mo Gay again, who's power forward eligible. So the real strict centers are Joval, who I think is an awesome play. It's centers against Brooklyn always. 6,500. They are on the front end of a back-to-back. But if he plays, if he gets the start tonight, it should be smooth sailing for him. Played 31 minutes in the last game. I think there's probably even room for a little bit more potentially. And this game against Brooklyn, he's a good run back with Michael Porter Jr. Bam Adebayo against Chicago. Bigs just smashed Chicago. There, Joel Embiid. He was on pace to have him. You thought you were losing the Slate the other night in the first half if you didn't have Embiid, and then he did absolutely nothing in the second half. But his writing
already had Sarr.
Yes, true. But Sarr also kept just going and going and going. Like, you never felt quite good about it. I don't know. I had Sarr too, but Embiid had 40 at the half. So it's there. This is full price Joel Embiid, who's still a bit underpriced everywhere. So I do like him as a spend up, and it is Sacramento. So that's good. Other than that, it would be Alexander Sarr. You can play again. A little worried about the illness tag that they tagged him with. He did get a day off.
He's been ruled officially in.
Yeah, he's in. I'm saying I'm a little worried about him in general, from a minute ceiling standpoint. But definitely playable. And then Vooch got an upgrade now, and a low-on play would be Jalen Duran.
All right, Taylor, who do you like at the center spot? And also, if you don't mind, touch on, we got a Sacramento starting lineup, and Neat Clifford is in it. Zach LaVine is not in it. Schroeder, the starting point guard. Any that I think the fact that you're starting at the 1 makes me like Schroeder even more than I did. But I don't think we really got to play Neat Clifford, or then we weren't going to play Zach LaVine anyway. Anything else you have interest in that change?
No, I think the Schroeder one is the main one. I don't want Sacramento in the first place, so kind of makes it easier to get away from all the other stuff.
All right, DK Center, who do you like?
Yeah, so a lot of the same guys. Obviously, Turner without Giannis is going to look pretty good. Portis and Gay, Joe Val, I think, is probably the best center play on the slate, like as far as center only goes. Diabate, huge game last night. Dallas is a really matchup for bigs, out AD and Lively. So I think I'm not expecting that insane outing again, but he's still cheap enough to play, I think. Embiid and Star, if you have a little more money to spend. Danny Wolf, we talked about on the low end. I think Bam is interesting. Chicago just year after year allows tons of points in the paint. And Bam, without Hero lately, has shown a ceiling, which we always talk about, how he doesn't have a ceiling. But at no ownership, relatively low ownership, I think Bam is a really good tournament play.
Agreed. One of the very few nights I actually don't mind Bam. We did just get Alperen Şengün officially a game and time decision, so nothing that helps us at this point, but it sounds like we won't get that news till after lock. So very valuable to keep an eye on that, because it'll make Clint Capella pop if he's out. It'll make Durant look a lot better. Amen Thompson look a lot better. So, and maybe some more value for Houston. So keep your eyes on that. Taylor, I will start with you first. For FanDuel point guard, who do you got?
Yeah, so we talked about Ryan Rollins. He's only 82 on FanDuel. Obviously, a great matchup against the Wizards. No Jan KPA. The Hawks, again, McCollum, Dyson Daniels, Alexander Walker are all positive values. You certainly don't want to play all of them together. I might even consider a max one of that group, but they are okay plays in a vacuum. Kobe White has point guard on FanDuel. He's only 6,700 without Giddey. I think he's an awesome play. Schroeder, 4,700 starting. No Levine, no Monk, no Russ. Or Levine is in, not starting. So should be okay. Should see around 30 minutes if they can keep it close, I would think. Trey Johnson, 56 on FanDuel, just like he is on DK, is a solid play. Amen Thompson and better. Şengün's out, but still viable either way. Ditto for Reed Shepherd. And then if you're paying all the way up, SGA is really expensive, but without J-Dub, his per minute rate is monstrous. So I think he's a great play.
All right, Kirkdiese, how about you, point guard? And then take us right into shooting guard.
Yep, point guard is Ryan Rollins again. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the spend up if you want. For value now, it's Dennis Schroeder. CJ is kind of. I'm sorry about that. Honey. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that on? Am I on mic right now? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted.
Oh, you guys heard the honey? All right. I'm having chaos over here. All right. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Dennis Schroeder, CJ McCollum, Kobe White, Trey Johnson, Jamal Murray. My favorites, obviously, I think Ryan Rollins is just awesome. It's Washington. I'm not overthinking it. I'm playing all these guys against Washington. Dyson Daniels, I think, is going to has a really good ceiling in this spot, even though it is Houston because of the fact that they're on a back-to-back and missing some players. But so those are my favorite. But any of those guys I listed are I would play tonight.
All right, Taylor, shooting guard, then take us into small forward.
Yeah, you can play Rollins here. You can play Daniels, Schroeder, McCollum, Kobe White, all the guys we talked about at point guard. Kevin Huerter's 4-2 on FanDuel, still a great play like I talked about on DK. Keyshawn George getting more expensive, but just a huge ceiling in this awesome first game of the night. Jamal Murray not going to be very popular, maybe more so on FanDuel because you can play him at shooting guard, but pretty good play, obviously on the high end. There's not a ton of other cheap stuff. I think Io's okay. 52 on FanDuel's kind of cheap without Giddey and Jones. So I think he's fine. Dylan Brooks also has good positional eligibility on FanDuel. I like him more on FanDuel than I do on DK. That's about it, though. Not much different over here.
All right, Kirkdiese, small forward, then take us to power forward.
Small forward, Kuz, Buzelis, Kaishan is my favorite of the bunch. Actually, I'm playing two, but depends on what position. So Kaishan and Michael Porter Jr. are actually my two favorites. Kuz and then Buzelis are next. Dylan Brooks is fine. PG-13 turned back the clock the other night. Maybe he keeps it rolling against Sacramento. I think it's certainly possible, so I would say he's in play. Peyton Watson looks solid in that Brooklyn game, and I think that game is going to be very competitive, the Brooklyn, because of everybody missing on both sides. And then Andrew Wiggins or Norman Powell.
All right, power forward.
Power forward. Yep. Okay. Bobby Portis, power forward or center eligible. Mo Gay. Jalen Smith was pretty good, and looks a lot better now with people out. He looked really good against Indiana Pacers in his last game in the minutes that I saw him, to the point where it stuck in my head. So I think he's solid play. Bam, as you both alluded to on before, he's a solid play. I like that he's power forward eligible. Alex Sarr, you could play as well. Going to be lower owned this time tonight, and has certainly has the same upside again. So like that, and then that's about it for me.
All right, Taylor, how about you? Power forward, then lead us into center.
Yeah, Portis and Mo Gay are the top two plays at the position you're probably playing no matter what. Both power forward center. Jalen Smith, I think, is a good call again. 5,600 on FanDuel's cheap. Should be starting without Giddey. So very strong play along with Buzelis. I mentioned Sabonis being better on FanDuel. 7,900 is really cheap. Minutes are pretty close to normal for him after his injury. Bam and MPJ in the 8K range, both 8,400 look good. Watson a little bit cheaper. I think Sarr, now that we know he's in, is still playable at 8.5 in that first awesome game of the night. And then Jabari, probably better if Şengün's out. Could see some minutes at the 5. This game could also go small. Like Atlanta really has no size at all, so he could play the 5 anyway. I think Jabari is kind of sneaky in tournaments.
All right, Kirkdiese, how about you? Close us out. Center on FanDuel.
Bobby Portis, Mo Gay, again, those are the power forward eligible guys. The true center plays are Joe Val is number 1, Miles Turner is number 2. Then I'd get to Jalen Smith, Diabate, and then Vooch. And then if you have the funds and you want to play for the and like I said, Embiid was on his way to just absolute nuke city. So that's coming. That game is coming. Is it tonight against Sacramento? It totally could be. It might not, but it could be. So he's a way to play to get different off of this good chalk, but it's tough to get rid of this good chalk because of how good it is. So that's my little spiel with that. You can play Sabonis. You can play Jalen Duren for incredibly low ownership tonight.
All right, let's start getting into some questions. Before we do that, though, I do want to know who is breaking the slate from both of you guys today. So, Taylor, I'll throw to you first. Who is your slate breaker?
I'll go with Joe Val. I just think, centers against Brooklyn has been a thing for like the entire existence of the Nets franchise. The minutes are high for him. He's great per minute. He's underpriced. No Jokic. I think Joe Val is just an amazing play on this slate.
I'll go with MPJ.
I like it. Like both of those ones today. Just looking at my ownerships right now, I ended up getting 67% Rollins. So that's my guy today. I'll go with a super sneaky one though, and that's Naz Reid. Naz Reid, I think, could be a super sneaky slate breaker today with Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards both listed as questionable. Obviously, Gobert out would be better, but even if it is Edwards, that could boost him quite significantly. I like him quite a bit. And before I get to some questions, though, I also want to let you know about Pick Labs. It's newest RotoGrinders feature that lets you scan the best player props and pick 'em bets in seconds. Everything's broken down for you, from edges and win rates to value. It's a clean board showing which picks actually stand out across sportsbooks and sites like Underdog and Prize Picks. And when you see something you like, Pick Labs builds the slip and sends it straight to the book of your choice. You can find it at Pick Labs. You can find Pick Labs at rotogrinders.com/Pick Labs. You'll be wondering how this wasn't a thing already. QQ, regardless of whether Şengün is out or not, a lot of minutes need to be distributed with Eason and DFS out. Who do the minutes go to? So that's all already factored into projections right now. But basically, if Şengün were to play, who is the value that you like on Houston, Taylor?
They don't have a lot of cheap stuff. Like I think Okogie's going to see a lot of that run. I think Capella should see more. Maybe Jayshawn Tate in the rotation. I don't really think any of that is DFS relevant unless Şengün's out. And then Capella's a great play, and then Okogie I think is a little better, but it's really just Capella if Şengün's out.
All right, next up, Yahoo 2v2, Kirkdiese. You want Peyton Watson and Christie or Mo Gay and Dyson Daniels?
Mo Gay and Dyson Daniels.
Taylor, rank the Bucks for us, and is $4 too many bucks?
I think it is. I think I would top it at 3. Rollins, Portis, Turner, Kuz, Green would be my ranking.
Yeah, I maxed it at $3 as well, and I made the rule that I only want max 2 of Turner, Kuzma, Portis. Rollins, I will play with whoever, but a max 2 of Kuzma, Portis, and Turner for me. DK, GPP, Kirkdiese, Mann and Joval, or Trey Johnson and Shepard?
Man, I hate Mann, but I'll say it. Take that just because the Joval. Yeah, I guess I would play that, but I don't like Mann. I would try to find someone else.
All right, DK, GPP, Taylor, Io and Miller, or Allen and Naz Reid? Grayson Allen and Naz Reid.
I think Io and Miller, but if Rudy's out, then Naz is going to look a lot better.
All right, sorry. I'm just I can't help but make a joke in the chat, but I need to be focused on questions. DK, single entry, GPP, last piece, Krejci or Mann, Kirkdiese?
Wow, give me Krejci. I told you I just hate Mann. So I mean, there's a lot of risk in Krejci, but he does have some upside.
All right, pick one, Taylor. Hopkins, Jabari Smith, Buzelis, or Kuzma, FanDuel GPP.
I think Jabari for a tournament, even if Şengün is in. But Buzelis and Kuzma are good. I just think Jabari is probably the lowest end of that group.
All right, Kirkdiese, CJ McCollum or Kobe White tonight?
I'm actually playing CJ, so I'll say that begrudgingly.
Dyson Daniels or Kobe White, Taylor?
I think I would still take Dyson. It's close, though.
Kirkdiese, you want Kobe White and Anthony Edwards or SGA and Reed Shepard?
SGA and Reed.
CJ McCollum, I feel like I know we just answered some variation of this at least. Apologies, but a lot of the questions are centered around that. CJ or Kobe White, Taylor?
I would take White over CJ. I took Dyson over White over CJ.
Dylan Brooks or PJ Washington on DK, Kirkdiese?
Dylan Brooks.
All right. Klay Thompson officially in. I believe he was probable.
Can I just give a shout out to Lippy in chat, who's been developing AI, doing a lot of AI work these days. Just wanted to say,
No, you can't shout him out for that right now with 5 minutes until lock. That's not worth a shout out at any time. Do you recommend a run back from Washington if playing all the Bucks value, Taylor? And at the same time, another question from Discord: what are your thoughts on Middleton?
Yeah, I'm never really compelled to play Middleton. He's just kind of always limited, but I do think running it back with a wizard makes sense. The issue is they're not really low owned. Like I think Sarr, George, and Johnson are all somewhat popular, but in general, I think it's a good idea.
All right, DK GPP Kirkdiese, what are your thoughts on KD tonight? I have 9K left, and I already have MPJ.
I think he's fine, and definitely gets a big boost if Sengun is out.
Yeah, I'm running him in my main lineup right now for that exact reason. He just fits, but then also he gets a lot nicer if Sengun happens to be out. Taylor, can you play Newell and Moge in the same lineup?
Yeah, I think you can. They're both really cheap and they're really shorthanded, so I think it's okay.
All right. Is Khalil Ware in play yet in his first game back or not quite yet, Kirkdiese?
You know, he was in the doghouse before too. So let's see how he does right now. So let's wait on him.
Bam or Sarr on FanDuel, Taylor?
Sarr if you don't care about ownership. I think Bam might be a little lower. I would lean Bam, but both are good.
This was the exact thing that I was trying to figure out on DraftKings, Taylor. Is in DK Cash, is Schroeder a must now? And are you playing Miles Turner, or are you keeping that spot open for in case Clint Capella, in case Sengun's out?
I don't think you have to play Turner. So if you want to leave it and wait, I think that's totally fine. I am playing a lot of Schroeder begrudgingly, but I think he's, totally fine in that role.
Kirkdiese, 4K left on FanDuel for either of the two forward positions. Who do you got?
So small forward or power forward?
Yeah.
I don't freaking know. It's 4K tops.
Yeah.
Ugh. Caleb Martin.
That's not exciting.
Achua? Moge for sure. But so I was looking at small forward. Moge,
small forward or power forward. Definitely Moge unless they already have him. If they already have him, I feel like it'd be Man or Achua for me. Just not a very exciting range at all. Miles or Kuz, FanDuel GPP, Taylor?
I think Miles is a little better. It's kind of a toss-up.
He's playing Portis, Joe Val, and Jalen Smith. A good trio for FanDuel Cash, Taylor.
Yep.
All right. FanDuel GPP, Kirkdiese, you want Paul George, Kobe White, or Miles Bridges?
Give me Kobe White.
Taylor, you want Kuz or Naz Reid on DK?
I think Reed's worth a try, and maybe the news breaks your way.
Joe Val or Miles Turner, Kirkdiese?
Well, you save a little. I actually like Miles Turner better because against Washington, and you save a little money. So that's my pick. But it's probably you guys probably prefer Joe Val, I would assume.
Schroeder or Io, DK GPP, Taylor?
Probably Schroeder. Yeah, both fine.
White or Dosunmu, single entry tournament, Kirkdiese?
White.
Bam or Dosunmu or Sabonis on DK? That's Bam. Taylor, would you be swapping your Moge down to Capella if Sengun is out?
Yeah, I mean, I think Gay's still fine either way. Capella probably looks better, so a lot of it would be swapped, but I don't think you have to totally fade Gay in that scenario.
Ideally, still play both. But just if you don't have any other spots open, a 1v1, I think I would probably prefer Capella there too.
Yeah.
Schroeder and Desunmu or Trey Johnson, Kobe White, Kirkdiese. I mean, that's
Trey Johnson, Kobe
so
White. Yeah, it's Trey Johnson, Kobe White.
Javier Hernandez is shocked Koloko was never mentioned, but Newell was. I mean, they're both kind of the same. Neither of them are likely to be very good, but they're super cheap. Newell probably has, I think, a little bit of a higher ceiling than Koloko. We haven't really seen much from him, but that'll do it for all the questions. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in today. We'll be back tomorrow for some more NBA DFS content. On behalf of myself, Kirkdiese, Taylor, and of Steve, doing a wonderful job behind the scenes. We will see you next time. Peace.